what we do with Fortified Measures is we provide personalized home defense training. And so what that looks like is we actually, and it's all firearms based or primarily firearms based. So what we do is we actually take the training to the client. So we go to your home. We will show you different security measures you can take to help strengthen your home both inside and outside. We will talk about how to formulate a plan for you and your family for any type of immediate actions. And it doesn't have to be home invasion scenario. It can be earthquakes, fires, things like that. But helping the families develop a plan for any type of life-threatening scenario. But then the bulk of it is learning how to defend against a home invasion type scenario. And so unfortunately, those are just ramping up like crazy. I'm sure we'll talk here about some things that are happening specifically in San Diego and most of Southern California. But things are getting really dangerous. I think a lot of people see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to your original question, I think it definitely does hit home more. I mean, obviously safety was a very big concern for our household regardless, but having another life to care for and then also having kids thrown in the mix, that changes how you're going to operate and do things as well. So that's what I love about it is like when I'm working with clients, it's always different. Everyone's living situation is different. Everyone's family situation is different. Everyone's proficiency is different. So it's, even though I'm teaching a lot of the same material, but it's always presented in different ways. So it makes it stay fun and entertaining, but also very valuable.
Well, anybody that looks at your social media, I mean, you could just see, like, I saw you were at a training, so how come you're still going to training? I'm just curious on how come you continue to improve your skill set. And obviously it's you're going into the home, you're getting to know the family, they're comfortable. Like that's a different connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're always, from anyone that you speak to in, the shooting or tactical community and really with anything, I mean, we're always going to be students, right? So I always have to make sure that I stay proficient in what I personally know and what I can do. And they're unfortunately, very perishable skills. And so just like anything else, just like any sport, it takes so much practice and repetitions, and the less you use it, the quicker it's going to go. So, I'm always trying to better myself so that I can be better for my family. I can, be better for the people I'm serving. But yeah, like you mentioned, it's being able to work in the home of somebody else. I think it does provide a lot more value than if you were to going to go to, say a shooting range and take like a home defense class in a shooting range. You might learn some good principles, but obviously you're not in your home and things are going to be different no matter what. And so I think it just gives people a lot more comfortable feelings of like, okay, this is how I'm actually going to operate in my living space. Like these are my four walls. I'm going to know how to maneuver in the layout. I'm going to know how to get my children from point A to point B if there is a bad situation happening. But it brings a level of that comfort of where it's, there's no live fire, there's no real ammunition, there's no live firearm. So it takes that stress away automatically, especially when I'm working with like novice shooters, or it's, a husband who wants to train with his spouse or vice versa. Maybe they don't have a lot of firearms experience. So it's a lot less stressful environment. You don't have to worry about travel, right? You don't spend money on gas. You don't have to spend money on crazy expensive ammunition.
That's a great call.
Right. And then there's no range fees. And then you also, I'm just not a fan of going to public ranges in general, just because,
how come?
Well, one, you have no idea who the people are around you, right? You have no idea who's shooting around you, that you have no idea what their level of proficiency is.
Wow.
So I just get a little, weary about who's around me, that now I have to pay attention. This is one more thing that I need to watch out for.
Another variable.
So that especially if I'm trying to, teach a student, I'm always on a swivel trying to watch what's going on around me as well. So when we're in their house, it's one less thing you have to worry about. I've literally had a client train in her PJs because
Get out.
she was
I love it.
in her house.
When I do the fortified measures, I'm going to be in my PJs. He's going to walk in, Oli, why in the world are you in your PJs, bro? Like, they're well, it's scammo. It's all good.
Well, realistically, right?
That's awesome.
One, she was like, she's comfortable. And then two, it's just like, this is probably what I wear most of the time.
Right now. That's hilarious.
So you know what? You're going to.
Well, you got a good point. Like if you're going to have a home and you're probably in your pajamas.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Or, you know, whatever.
She was very, she was very forward thinking. Are you also, when you go into a home with kids, you have families that do it with their kids, right?
Yes. Not often. And so the kid portion, it all depends on, you know, their maturity level. You know, I'm not so much focused on age if it's, you know, a home that has brought maturity their kids up on firearms. So, you know, if they're, you know, if they have experience shooting. I was working with a family. It was the two parents and their 10-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And, you know, realistically, I was a little skeptical at first just because, you know, 10 is a very, very young age. But she was very mature for her age, asked some great questions. Like she was involved with the class, which is great. We did a 5-day course with them.
Really?
And so she was very engaged. You know, I was very impressed with how attentive she was and how serious she took the training. And so, yeah, it all depends. And, you know, and that's really something that information I need from the parents. You know, they're going to know what the level of, you know, experience that or what their kids can handle. And, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think guns are a huge controversy here. I figure it's the user, right? Like you want to put guns in the right hands of like anything. Yeah. Right. Do you know what I mean? It's like, dude, at the end of the day, it's about being mature. Not just life isn't just about you. It's about other people. So the families that are doing this, what's their reason? You know,
yeah, I would say the reasoning is pretty much the same across the board.
Okay.
And obviously they're looking at the climate of what's happening in our country and not just here in California or San Diego. You can see it across you can really see it across the world, but I mean, specifically in our country, I mean, you can see the rise in crime. You can see the rise in California, people getting let out of jails and prison. And I think people just know that there's not a lot of people out there that are too concerned with our safety. And so in any type of home situation, I mean, you can also see that police response is getting very high as well. As of right now in San Diego County as a whole, you're looking at a average of 38 minutes response time from police.
Have you been looking up the stats?
Yeah.
38 minutes? Holy smokes.
As a whole in San Diego County.
So an emergency 30, 40 minutes before.
Yeah. And you got to look at it realistically. And there's a saying that's when seconds matter, police are only minutes away. So even if they were 2 minutes away, they're not there to prevent what's happening, right? You know, it's already happening. You're calling them for a reason. Either somebody kicked in your door or the fire, whatever has already started. You know, they're there to come and clean up the act.
You're a proactive approach. That's a reactive approach.
Yeah, and I think more people are realizing that. And throughout the last 3 years, I mean, San Diego, the new gun owners in San Diego have skyrocketed. I mean, there's so many new gun owners, and it's fantastic. I don't know if you remember, like there was a time during COVID where you couldn't even get ammo or firearms because they were off the shelves. Because I mean, everyone was buying up. You know, I think mainly out of fear. But so now you look at the reality of, I mean, I love people expressing their Second Amendment rights. And I love seeing the amount of new gun owners and people, you know, on both sides of the fence. It doesn't matter. Protection is something that everyone has to deal with. But being a gun owner, you have a huge responsibility to know how to use it. You know, like we just talked about, it's a tool. So it all depends on the, you know, amount of time you want to put into it. And It's just like anything else, just like any other sport, right? You want to take a karate class, you're not going to be a black belt after your first time in a class. Like it's going to take years of consistent training, repetitions, building muscle memory, building good positive habits, knowing laws, which is, they're always changing, but knowing what you can and can't do with firearms, as far as like CCW holders, so people that have their permit to carry,
Right.
that has gone in the past three years. That's gone from, I think there was less than 1,300 permits issued in San Diego County, and it's now they're just about to hit 20,000.
If you enjoyed what you saw, like, share, comment, and forward to someone that this will bring value to. Thank you so much for all the support. We appreciate it.